An AI just found remote code execution vulnerabilities in the two most legendary text editors ever built, Vim and Emacs. The editors that millions of developers trust with their entire workflow just got cracked wide open. And here's the twist. They weren't found by a human security researcher. They were found by Claude, Anthropic's AI. And the number of machines exposed right now is staggering. Let's break down exactly what happened, how bad it is, and what you need to do right now. Last month, Anthropic expanded Claude's capabilities into automated security auditing. They pointed it at some of the most widely used open source projects on Earth. Linux kernel, OpenSSL, QRL, standard targets. But when Claude got to Vim and Emacs, it flagged something that decades of human code review had missed. The Vim vulnerability, CVE 2.2631337, a buffer overflow in Vim's modeline parser. CVSS score, 9.8 out of 10. Critical. Modelines are those special comments you put at the top or bottom of a file to tell Vim how to behave. Tab width, file type, syntax settings. Most developers have seen them. Claude found that a specially crafted modeline with a malformed encoding directive could overflow an internal buffer. The parser doesn't properly bounds check a conversion table lookup. In plain English, you open a file, any file, and if it contains a malicious modeline, the attacker gets code execution on your machine with your permissions. Think about that. You clone a repo from GitHub. You review a pull request. You download a config file. Any of those could trigger this. Every version of Vim from 8.2 through 9.11200 is affected. That's years of releases, millions of installations, and modelines are enabled by default. Most users never touch that setting. Now the Emacs vulnerability, CVE 2026333, a sandbox escape in the Emacs Lisp evaluator, CVSS 9.6. Emacs isn't just a text editor. It's basically a Lisp machine that happens to edit text. It evaluates Lisp expressions constantly, and it has a sandbox to keep untrusted code contained. Claude found a sequence of Lisp expressions that breaks out of that sandbox. A specially crafted .emacs file or org mode document can chain 3 low-severity issues into a full sandbox escape. Step 1. A type confusion in the bytecode compiler. Step 2. Privilege escalation through a process sentinel callback. Step 3. Full escape. Shell access. The attack surface here is enormous. .emacs files, org mode documents, tramp remote connections, even email attachments if you use mu4e. Emacs 27.1 through 29.4. Again, years of versions, millions of users. Here's what makes this story different from any other vulnerability disclosure. Vim's code base has been reviewed by thousands of developers over 35 years. Emacs has been scrutinized since 1976. 50 years. Both projects have been through formal security audits. Google Project Zero looked at Vim. Multiple firms have audited Emacs Lisp. They all missed it. Claude doesn't review code the way humans do. It performs static analysis, symbolic execution, attack surface mapping, and cross-function data flow tracing, simultaneously across the entire code base. The Vim bug existed across 2 functions in separate files, over 3,000 lines apart. The interaction between them was the vulnerability. No single reviewer would naturally connect those dots. The Emacs chain is even more impressive. Each of the 3 issues was individually low severity, harmless on their own. Claude recognized that combined, they became critical. A human team would need 6 to 12 months for an audit this thorough. Claude did it in 4 hours. This is the first time an AI has independently discovered zero-day vulnerabilities in foundational Unix tools. That's a milestone. Let's talk about who's actually exposed here. And it's more people than you think. Vim is installed on roughly 70% of Linux servers worldwide. It's the default editor on most distributions. Every time someone types a git commit message, Vim is probably what opens. Every major tech company, every bank, every cloud provider, their developers use these editors daily. Their CI/CD pipelines often invoke them. University computer science departments, research labs, every institution that teaches programming on Linux has these editors on every machine. Government systems, defense contractors, intelligence agencies. Vim is in the software manifest of classified systems across NATO countries. And it's not just desktops and servers. Vim variants ship in routers, NAS devices, embedded systems. It's everywhere. But here's the real nightmare scenario. Supply chain attacks. An attacker slips a malicious file into a popular repository. Every developer who clones it and opens a file in Vim, compromised. And the question everyone's asking, has this already been exploited in the wild? Anthropic says no evidence of active exploitation. But the Vim bug has existed since version 8.2. That's 2019. 7 years of exposure. If an AI found these in 4 hours, the uncomfortable question is, did a nation state find them first and sit on them? The response from the open source community has been fast, unusually fast. Anthropic followed responsible disclosure. They contacted both maintainer teams on day 1, gave them 2 weeks, and both teams delivered patches in time for coordinated public disclosure. Vim 9.1.12.01 patches the buffer overflow. The fix adds proper bounds checking on the modeline encoding parser. It's a clean fix. Emacs 29.5 closes all 3 links in the exploit chain. The sandbox evaluator now validates bytecode types before execution. The Vim community, still navigating life after Brahma-Linarar's passing, rallied. The current maintainer team turned this patch around in 11 days. That's dedication. Major Linux distributions are already pushing updates. Ubuntu, Fedora, Debian, Arch patches are in the repos now. If you're on macOS using Homebrew, update today. Apple ships an older Vim with the system. That one's vulnerable too until Apple pushes a security update. Good news for NeoVim users. The modeling parser was completely rewritten in 2021. NeoVim is not affected by the Vim vulnerability. If you can't update immediately, add set no modeline to your Vim RC. For Emacs, disable file local variables. Do it now. The security community is losing its mind over this, and not just because of the bugs. One prominent researcher put it this way: if AI can find 0 days in code that's been reviewed for 35 years, what else is hiding in plain sight in the software we all depend on? Google's Project Zero called it a validation of AI-assisted vulnerability research. They want to integrate similar techniques into their own pipeline. CISA issued a critical infrastructure advisory within hours. They're recommending all federal agencies patch within 48 hours. And of course, the internet did what the internet does. The only safe editor is the one you can actually quit. VS Code users have never felt more smug. But the memes aside, the real story here isn't the vulnerabilities themselves. It's what this means for the future of software security. There are over 400 million open source repositories on GitHub. Fewer than a fraction of 1% have ever been formally security audited. The software that runs the internet, OpenSSL, QRL, zlib, SQLite, has been maintained by tiny teams for decades. If Vim and Emacs had bugs hiding for 7 years, what's lurking in packages with even less scrutiny? AI security auditing is a force multiplier, unlike anything we've seen. One AI system doing the work of hundreds of researchers, running continuously, never getting tired, never skipping a function. But here's the flip side. If defenders can use AI to find 0 days, so can attackers. This is the beginning of an AI-powered security arms race. The window between discovery and exploitation is about to collapse. Responsible disclosure timelines that took 90 days might need to be 48 hours. Anthropic is positioning Claude not just as an AI safety company, but as an AI security company, finding vulnerabilities before attackers do. That's a powerful narrative and a powerful business model. And you can bet Google, OpenAI, and Microsoft are already building competing security auditing tools. This is going to be a market. Here's your action plan. 1. Update Vim and Emacs today, not tomorrow. Today. Your package manager has the patches. 2. If you can't patch, disable modelings in Vim and file local variables in Emacs. It kills the attack vector. 3. Audit your CI/CD pipelines. If any step invokes Vim or Emacs, and many do for Git operations, make sure those binaries are patched. 4. Scan your repositories for suspicious modelings. If you see encoding directives you don't recognize, investigate. 50 years of code, 35 years of review, 4 hours for an AI to find what nobody else did. That's the world we live in now. The age of AI-powered security isn't coming, it just arrived. Update your editors, watch your dependencies, and get used to AI finding the bugs that humans can't. Subscribe so you don't miss the next critical vulnerability breakdown.